What is up, guys? True Pirate here, back at it again with another YouTube video on the Dragon Ball Super card game. This video is going to be a bit different as I'm not going to actually be showcasing a new deck, but I'm going to be giving my personal thoughts about the new cards coming out in the Dragon Ball Super draft box for which is introducing 100 new cards. And, you know, I think I'm alright at the game, so I think I can give you a somewhat alright opinion about some of the cards that I personally think. Like this video says, it's a top 15 card list. Now, keep in mind that the draft box is fully revealed today, actually, about 2 hours ago. Probably a bit later than, probably a bit longer than 2 hours, probably like 3-4 hours ago. But I'm just going to be talking about the cards I think. I'm going to be doing a top 15 of what I personally think of the top 15 cards from this draft box, and also, you know, doing some honorable mentions. Now, I'll quickly pump out the honorable mentions because, you know, why not? So I've got 9 honorable mentions here. I've got Majin Buu, the Reincarnator. Lets you play a 4-drop, 3-drop from your battle area. From your drop area, to the battle area. Pretty good, considering that you can play it off chain attack. That's the big thing for it. Can be seeing it getting splashed into chain attack decks, but that's about it. I wouldn't see people tapping up 4 for this. Also, by the way, this is solely for constructed format. I'm horrible at draft. I'm not horrible, I'm okay at draft, but, like, you know, this is just my opinion about it. You know, just saying. So yeah, then we got Garlic Cannon. That's the 1-drop red extra card counterplay. Looks pretty cool, by the way. But yeah, when you basically what happens is that when your opponent plays a card, you can play this in response and minus a 15k. If this card negated the skills or like had a way of negating the skills, I would actually rate this a lot more. But because of the fact it's just a neg 15k, it kind of does. It's kind of like, is that all you got? But it's only killing 1 card, but it doesn't cost 2, if that makes sense. And it's also a different window. But the fact that this doesn't come into play skills, I don't think it's, you know, I think it's good, but not top 15 worthy, you know what I'm saying? Next we have the blue extra negate, the Master Roshi extra card negate. Battle card negate, sorry. It's essentially a blue version of the yellow one. That one's pretty fucking... Oh, sorry for my language. Pretty good. So that's why this one's in the honorable mentions. Next I have the Freezer Block Barrier. That is a 3-drop that you can infinitely revive from the drop area. That literally, the sentence I just said explains why it's here. I don't know if it's top... I'm pretty sure people will be able to exploit this in Universe 7 decks. But the fact that you don't have to have this in your hand and you can play it from your drop area seems pretty good. Next, North Kai, Protector of Earth. I think this card's going to be super exploitable. Someone's going to find the God Goku combo with this, I reckon. Because the interesting thing about this card is that you can play Preface of Recovery Son Goku with this card and untap both the energy requirements with it. Because what it does, it lets you play a 3-drop Goku battle card from your drop area that has 15k or less power, or 3 or less. And Preference of Recovery is a 3-drop that has 15k power that untaps 2. So that's essentially, you play this card, draw a card, then you tap 2, and then you literally get to upgrade it for free if you have 2 energy open. So that's pretty good. I'm pretty sure someone's going to split the shit out of this, let's be real here. Next we have Slumber Strike. This is just a buffed version of Father-Son Kamehameha, in my opinion. It literally has an active main. It has the same effect of Father-Son Kamehameha, and another effect. So that's why I've got that here. Excuse me. Next, we have Frieza Cry of Sovereignty, the Frieza SPR. I honestly have no idea how I'm going to edit this video. We'll see what I do. But this card's here because I think this is just the glorified version of Godstrike Beerus for 2 yellow. The reason being is that it's got its uses. Like, obviously, you can combo 5k instead. And, what was I going to say? Yeah, you can combo 5k instead, and it lets you completely shut down a card. But the fact that it costs to use that skill... Like, I think it's got some niche value for it when you do use it, but the fact that you have to use 2 yellow 100%, whereas Godstrike Beerus is 2 whatever, I understand that Godstrike Beerus only negates 1 skill, but majority of the time the skills you want to negate on the card that's attacking, for example, are usually like double strike or triple strike in that instance, or even like you need to absorb on a mirror or something like that. But Godstrike Beerus can do the exact same, and I just feel like it's a bit better because it's more linear with the main effect it's going for, which is negating a certain skill. Where I do understand this negates the whole card skill, but I do think Godstrike Beerus is better than this card. That's just my personal opinion. If what I'm saying is making sense, like Godstrike Beerus lets you negate a keyword skill on any battle card, including barrier, whereas this lets you negate the skills of one of your opponent's battle cards during the combo step but this only works on your opponent's turn, and it costs 2 yellow. I do understand that you can combo this for free, and it's a 5k combo if you don't want to use this effect, but you run it to use its effect. So that's my opinion on that. I think God's Beerus is a better version of this card, because they essentially aim to do the same thing, but I think God's Beerus just does it better. That's my opinion on this card. I know I meant to breeze over this, but you know, it's fine. Next, speaking of Beerus, we've got Chumper and Beerus. I know people are really hyped for this card. I think this card is good, but I also think it's overrated. The reason why I think it's obviously its effect's insane, where it can kill at 20k or less. When you play it with a rival, it's essentially Gogeta, but Gogeta says kill a 4-drop or less. But this says a 20k or less. The reason why I think this is overrated, it has the exact same effect as Gogeta on your opponent's turn, but I do agree that it can target a larger range of cards as it is 20k or less. But there's a problem with that. Let's just say your opponent pumps the cards up with Senzubin and might not be able to hit certain things. That's one weakness of this card. I understand the Gogeta can't hit 5 or more. It's just my opinion, okay? Just settle down. I'm just speaking my mind. And the other effect of this card is it gives a card double strike when you play it that's 6-drop or less. Now, I've spoken to a few people in person, like, damn, this is epic, but then I literally just say, in what situation would you rather play this over double strike Chomper? That's my opinion on that. I do understand if your card has dual attack or triple attack, yeah, sure, it's for the turn, but Godstrike Chomper costs you 1 card to play, where this card costs you 3, and if you're going in the instance where you're trying to give something double strike for game, Chomper is just instantly better because it's 10k combo as well. Like, that's my opinion on that. That's just, you know, my hot take. I could be wrong. This card might be amazing, but I think GWR is just a little bit better, in my humble opinion. And lastly, not least, last card, one of the duo campaign raids. These cards look beautiful, by the way. I think this card looks mwah. But yeah, the reason why I have this here, I'm a Vegeta fanboy. So it has to be on the list. But the reason why it's here as well is that the effect is pretty niche. You essentially get to play a 20k body on your opponent's turn, and you get to give one of your Universe 6 or 7 cards 6k power for the duration of until the end of your opponent's until the end of your next turn. But you can only play this card on your opponent's turn, which is kind of annoying. So I think this is good for the Universe 6 deck. It's cool too because you can include it with the Cover Leader, as this is a Vegeta card. I reckon you'll be adding that to this deck. This card's that deck, but it literally only works in that deck. Just straight up. You could splash it in Universe 6 deck, which it can work. But, yeah, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be really good for what it does, but I don't think what it does is, like, too insane. I can see the potential of this. I'm going to try it out, and if I like it, I'll be like, poggers, great card. But for now, that is my opinion on it. But anyway, I think I rambled on a lot for the honorable mentions. I literally, like, rambled on for, like, 8 minutes. Let's get into the top 15. Alright, now in a tie for 15th place is Chilled the Cruel and Son Goku Father and Son. Now, the only reason why I include these both in here, they both have the same effect, but have different conditions to do the effect. The effect is on the cards. The Goku is that if your opponent has 3 or more energy and one of their cards gets switched into rest mode, you can play this for free if a Goku's not in play. And the Chilled is when you switch one of your opponent's cards with a skill to rest mode, and you have 5 energy, you get to play this for free. That's why I include them both here. Obviously, I think the Goku's a little better because you can play it earlier, but I think Chilled when you play it is better. If that makes... Okay, Goku you play earlier, but Chilled is a better thing to play. So that's my opinion both of these. Chilled is 25k double strike. Goku is blocker, 15k. They both cost 10k to combo. I would have said Goku's significantly better if I thought it was a 5k to combo, but then I looked at it and it said 10k, so it feels bad. But I think both these cards can be insane, especially in the yellow Broly leader, the Awakened Threat. The fact that your leader legit negates a card and you get to play these for free if you don't have them play already seems pretty insane. I like playing 9 energy worth of cards for activating my leader skill if I have the met requirements, so I think that'll be pretty good. Moving right along, we have number 14. We have Son Gohan, Master and Pupil. This card has an interesting effect where you can active main for 1 green, you send this card to the warp, and then you play it at the start of at the end of your opponent's turn. This is pretty, and then obviously the next effect is when you play this card, take up to 2 life. This is insane self-awakening. Like the fact you take a quarter of your life, up to a quarter of this life, it's pretty spicy, you know. It is like for leaders that struggle to awaken, this card is going to be where it's at. Like We know there's Tricolor, what's that guy's name? Janimba running around. This might be a sideboard tech for certain matchups instead of running, what's that card called? Source of Power. Like, the fact that it only costs 1 is pretty spicy. You know, it's pretty nice. But, yeah, I do think this is more of a niche card. This could have honestly made it in the honorable mention section, but I think top 15 sounds more sexy than top 10, so we have to fix it up somehow, and I rate this card more than other cards. That's why. But I think this card, if using the correct deck, will enable a lot of decks, which will be pretty nice. Next card we have another Son Goku card, Saiyan Reborn. This card is that when you combo with this card, you can choose to discard a card from your hand, and then you get to KO one of your opponent's 3 drops or less in rest mode. Yeah, that's literally it. You know, that's pretty broken. This is essentially a Shigeshikid Goku for 3 drops or less. There's literally an Arrival card, the red and yellow Arrival, King Vegeta, and Prince Vegeta, actually, in his youth, that does the exact same thing as this, but this card does it cheaper. So it's pretty good. This card seems just money. Like, the fact that, I think the big thing about this card is that you can do it during either player's turns. Seems like, obviously, the Shigeshikid Goku factor. Not too sure how good it's going to be, considering it's only 3 or less, but I can definitely tell people will be eyeing off this card, thinking, what a good-looking, what a spicy-looking card. Next, we have Son Goku, Great Ape Saiyan Instincts. I have mixed feelings about this card. The reason why it's here is because the effect is generically good. You can actually run this card in any deck. And what it is that active main for 2 any energy. You send this card from your drop area to the warp and draw 2 cards. I think this is really good because it's literally, you just gain 2 cards for paying 2 energy. That's pretty good. You know, there's not too much to add about that. But the problem with that is that the meta runes a counterplay meta. So majority of the time you don't really have 2 energy to pay to draw 2 cards because you rather just play counterplays in your opponent's turn and make them depressed. But like, I think this card's still good. If the format changes, and some decks can exploit this card really well. But yeah, it just depends on what the future holds. You know, this card seems pretty good, but it's not quite top 10 worthy. You know what I'm saying? It's a solid 12 on my list. Oh, I need to stop. All right. Anyway, moving along. Nero Assault from the Skies. This card is interesting. It essentially is the same card as Fu, Scientist Fu, where they're both over 7. Both these cards have double strike. The difference between this card and the Scientist Fu is that Scientist Fu is a draw 2 card and has 25k power. This one is a 30k power double striker, and instead of drawing 2 cards, you draw 1, and at the end of at the start of your opponent's turn, you untap an energy. And this card is also 5k power, where Scientist Fu is a 10k combo power. There's actually, this is honestly going to be a personal preference thing. If you're worried about running too many 10ks in your deck, you'll run Mirror. If you prefer just drawing cards, you run Fu. It's like that. It's going to be very personal preference between the 2 cards to run if you're deciding to run the 2. And another thing is that even though Mirror does have 30k power, which is 5k more than Fu, majority of the time you'll get the power off the 2 cards you draw anyway. So I don't think that the power is necessarily important. I think the big thing is that, I think the big thing deciding between which 2 cards you gotta run is honestly gotta be due to the combo factor. Like, I'm being dead set about this. It's gonna be your personal preference. Some decks, you might not need the 10k. I might want the 10k a bit more, so you might run the Scientist Fu instead, whereas this is 5k power. But I think the fact you draw 2 cards with Scientist Fu is way more value than untapping one at the start of your turn, because these cards are normally used as game enders or pressure cards during the middle of the game, or comeback cards. So I think Scientist Fu, I personally prefer Scientist Fu, but this card is like, the fact that it's 5k combo and is like actually insanely tempting, because you don't need to pay anything to combo it. So I do think both these cards are interesting. I think if you already have a healthy hand size, I think Mirror will be better because you get to have an energy open on your opponent's turn. But I do think overall that Scientist Fu is slightly better. But this card's still really good. Like, the fact that I had to debate pretty hard between 2 cards, this and a card that already exists, should just show you how good this card is. Next card we have on the list is Bardock's Raiders Warcry. I don't know why I said Raiders. That's I actually don't know how to read, apparently. But this card has double strike, and when you combo with this card, if your lead is yellow, you get to play this card at the end of the combo. Sucks that this card's costs 2 to combo, but you can play this during either player's turn, which is pretty good. And when you do play this card, you get to draw a card and tap one of your opponent's battle cards, switching that bad boy to rest mode. This is pretty good. Playing this for 2 energy is insane, and the fact that you can do it on your opponent's turn is pretty good. It's kind of similar to the Arrival Bojack's effect, where you arrival, like you tap one of your opponent's cards and then they mill a card. It's very similar effect to that, but obviously this is played differently. Like this is played at the end of the combo, where Bojack is played during the Arrival step. So I think this card will find a home in a few people's decks. I don't know how good it will be though. I think it's good. Honestly, you could potentially rate. I might rate the Mirror a bit more than this card. Honestly, now that I think about it and saying things out loud, but I still think this card is pretty damn good. Moving on to number 9, we have a Topo Righteous Aid. This card is pretty damn good. Why is it pretty damn good? Well, if it's your opponent's turn, he's a 2-drop, not the bad good size. 2 seconds in, so that's pretty good. But no, we need to actually get to the point. So he's a counter attack. So when you pay 2 to negate an attack, 1 red, anything else, very splashable, very nice. Screw green, blue, and yellow Janemba. We about that red, blue, yellow Janemba with this boy, you know what I'm saying? But on a serious note, so when you have to pay 1 to negate the attack, well, you play him for 2 energy and you discard a card from your hand and you negate the attack. The thing is that when you play this card for the duration of the turn, whenever your opponent decides they want to attack, they discard 2 cards from their hand. That is literally Flying Nimbus, but better, in my opinion. Because Flying Nimbus, although it costs 1 energy, to play, your opponent still might have that God swing left, yeah? Topo is like, nah fam, you discard 2 every time. We get hand advantage when you attack, by the way. This is like a really good red Flying Nimbus. It puts a body on the board. This card just seems really good. I honestly reckon that people are going to mess around with after seeing how good Tricolor Janemba is with the, what's that, the color, the green. People will experiment running the red with red instead because, you know, Cell's really good, but the original and Unbreakable, the 10k draw card exists, and that's red. So I honestly do see people experimenting running a red engine alongside the over the green engine. That's just my opinion. People have seen it. People will try stuff. People are crazy. Those Janemba people on the Facebook page are all about that good Janemba shit, and I think Topo is like ready to team up with Janemba. Janemba for the Pride Troopers 2020. Let's go. But yeah, it's just the fact that when you do play this guy, like your opponent, it's a 20k body on board, and anytime if your opponent plans to attack you, you end their turn just straight up, because otherwise they're gonna lose all the cards in their hand. Like Vegeta's cool and all when you play make them warp card and kill something, but my boy Topo is like, nah fam, we don't attack you, discard 2 please, thank you very much. So I think that he's pretty solid. Obviously I do see you know, reasons against it, which I will get into later. Another very good 4-drop card that is in the set that people aren't talking about for some reason. Next card, SS3 Tag Team Son Gohan. This card is actually, we're getting to the cards that I can just, I'm frothing over these next few cards that were coming up. These cards are actually so good. So what the Gohan is, you can only have one of them in play. He is a 4-drop and he has blocker. Now the 2 things I've said right now seem pretty bad. He's a 15k 4-drop with blocker. Why would you play this card? He has an auto that when a black battle card is removed from your battle area by a skill, activate this skill. Play this card from your hand. Fun fact, most black cards in this game are played with Overrealm. Overrealm is a skill. At the end of your turn, if you don't have him in play, you play him for free. That is insane. I love playing my 15k blocker for free. That's an extra body on the board. Let's go. I love cheating shit out. I'm a cheater by playing cards illegally for free. Like Gohan is like, you get to like, there's that video, yeah, you spin your energy 8 times and then you get to play a battle card. Gohan does that legally, dude. He's like Canada, they just sell drugs, you know? That's how it's at. I'm gonna stop. Holy shit. Alright, but this card's pretty good. We're gonna move to the next card now. Oh my god. I need to actually stop talking sometimes. Just one of the times. Anyway, Kefla, Roar of Destruction. This card's insane. If you have 4 or more energy during the battle, keyword is battle, you can bounce 2 of your aliens back to your hand and play this card. And you can't play any other battle cards for the duration of the turn. That's pretty solid. That's not bad. But the reason why this is insane is that when you do play this card, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards and minus 20k. This is kind of like, what do you want to call it? What's that card called? It's kind of like Shigeshika Goku, more or less. You get to play this for free and you bounce 2 cards back. This is good because you're getting, this is on either player's turn. So you can do this to, like, do aggro plays. It's very splashable because it's 2 colorless. 2 colorless energy using to play this. So that's the big thing. The fact it's 2 colorless is really good. And just for the alien decks, mainly the U6 stuff, this will be a very nice tech because this lets you have like really good removal. So I rate this pretty good. You know, it's not bad. It's pretty good. Next we have Ultra Instinct Sign Son Goku the Unstoppable. Now I know people have mixed feelings about this card because you're leaving 4 energy open, but I'm thinking more for like this card is perfect in Janemba because it's a 4-drop. This is straight up you can play it in Janemba. The best reason, Janemba good card. The second thing is that this card can be played at a lot of different timings during a counter attack or a counter play. So the thing is that when you do play it on the counter attack, it doesn't actually stop the attack, but you get to play it. Its permanent skill is that its skills can't be negated in any area by your opponent's skills. I know they just recently announced the ruling with Cold Bloodlust saying like Victory Strike can be negated, but Victory Strike has slightly different wording from this, which I don't know. I don't, because it says it can't be negated by our opponent's skill. I wouldn't be too sure, but I'd imagine that because it says that, it might get around the new ruling. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll ignore that for now. But the big thing is that when you do play this card, you just choose one of your opponent's cards, ignoring barrier, and bounce it back to their hand, and then you draw a card. I think the biggest card to bounce back is definitely Son Goku, Defender of the Earth, the big boy Kaioken 7-drop, because this bounces back to hand when they play it, and that means they can't use its skills for the duration of the turn because it's not an instant resolving skill. It's a active main skill, that Goku, so it's a huge counter for that. And I think that's the big reason why I rate this card so highly. I think if you're a Janemba player, you see this is something you consider, and that's, you know, it's pretty good. Like, leaving 4 energy open isn't that uncommon nowadays anyway. Most people, like a lot of people I see, because it is a counterplay meta, it's like, alrighty, I attack, I pass, your turn. I personally wouldn't run this card because I'm usually an aggro player, and aggro players don't tend to leave 4 energy open. They're insane. But for like slower, more control players, this is a card that will like slide right in the alley, up the alley, because it more or less just ends the opponent's turn, and it also like just stops a threat from going off. Like, you're removing a threat and it replaces itself, and it's a pretty solid body in play. But definitely, this card definitely hard counters Kaioken Goku, because the fact that it bounces back to hand before it can actually resolve its effects is pretty damn good. So I do rate that. But now we're moving into the top 5, guys, and if you've stuck around for this 20-30 minutes I've been talking, thank you. I know I've actually been talking for exactly 22.5 minutes, so thank you for listening. Thank you for putting up with my nonsense for so long. And yes, I did just drink some water because my throat's getting dry. Top 5. Number 5, King Vegeta the Majestic Ruler. This card has one line of text to negate the skill of all other battle cards. That's pretty good. Literally, this deck, they did the ruling where it negates every mother effer's skill, you know? That's including Victory Strike. My boy, Victory Strike might be a god, dude, but what if you don't believe in God, dude? That's King Vegeta. He doesn't believe in God. But yeah, so, like, this can just win you games from playing it. It's like through Shrouded, but it kind of, you know, screws yourself as well. But it seems pretty good. Like, when you get this out, I'm pretty sure decks that are going to run this is like meme variants of Shenramp. Like, you get this pretty quickly. Like, Shenramp's playing this, can like potentially play this bad boy like turn 3, 4, I think. I don't know. That's just my imagination, I guess. But it seems pretty good. Like, the fact that this card negates every other battle card skill, pretty broken. It's nice and simple, but yeah, I think some will find a way to exploit this card. Top 4 now. Number 4, my boy Piccolo, a simulated ability. I actually can't understand why people aren't talking about this card. This card's insane. The first thing that's insane is that it's got barrier, and the second thing is that active battle once per turn bond 2. Like, okay, and the effect is choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or more and KO it, then you draw a card. Like, the fact that I can use this on my turn and my opponent's turn during the combo step, as long as I have one other battle card in play, seems pretty good. And back before when I was talking about the Topo card, this is, you know, Janemba boys should be frothing over this card because it's a 4-drop and it will cost only 1 green. And Janemba's tricolor now, apparently. And this fits in the blue yellow green variant. Like, 1 green's pretty good. You can even play it off the Piccolo where it bursts 3 and play it back in from your hand. Like, just the fact that it's all you need to do. This card has barrier as well, yeah. But every turn it's in play. Let's just say now, It's your turn. You played this card before. You swing, you active battle, you kill something, draw a card. Fantastic. Your opponent's turn goes on. Alright, cool. They swing, you KO another card. Fantastic. This card's drawn me 2 cards. My turn again. I swing, kill something else. I've drawn 3 cards. Like, this card just seems really good. Like, the fact that you have godly board clear, 5-drop or less. Like, this card hits higher than red green Gogeta BR with the rival. And the only like downside about it is like you have to have another battle card in play. This meta is all about playing battle cards on your opponent's turn. It's not gonna be that hard. Like, hello? I'll gladly, like, cool, I'll awaken with my Janemba leader untap 2. You're doing something fantastic. I'm playing my my Goku here, my Champa or whatever. I'll tap your shit. Cool, you're doing anything? Boom, blow that guy up. Great, draw a card. Fantastic. Seems pretty good. Like, come on, this card just seems insane. I'm surprised people aren't talking about it. It just seems so good. That's just, again, my personal opinion. But moving on to top 3. 3 cards I haven't talked about yet. 4. What could they be? Is there a Vegeta card in top 3? The answer is yes. Well, which card is it? It's pretty obvious. Number 3, Bardock, Father and Son. I keep on going over the point. One thing that you'll notice is that a lot of the cards I've read the most are stuff you play for free. The Shield and Goku you play for free if you tap a card. The Gohan, if you black battle cards removed by a skill overwhelm, you play it for free. The Bardock is number 3 because the fact that it makes itself for free. You can run this in any yellow leader, and he is a free card on turn 3. Just straight up, that is awesome. You know how, like, the fact that he taps a battle card, yeah, if you don't have a Bardock in play, he taps one of your opponent's battle cards and you play him. That's like 2 really broken things, just all, like, in one card. And the only requirement is if your opponent has 3 energy. Most games go for longer than that. Like, that's pretty good. Like, come on, it seems pretty alright, man. But I think the big thing as well is that one thing that Bardock, the 4-drop combo into play Ape Bardock was missing was a target to evolve over. Here is your target. You literally tap on your opponent's cards, you play this, you swing, you combo that 20k Bardock, you put him on top, evolve. You just literally for 1 energy, you tapped one of their cards and get a 20k double strike or blocker, and if you have a Planet Vegeta in play, it's for the defense as well. Like, you're probably going to see some Apes coming back, or Bardock, that particular card coming back, just because this card is actually just straight up just disgusting. The fact that, and the thing is that you can use this once per turn if you do what I'm saying, because if you evolve on top of this card, technically if you have another Bardock in hand, you don't have the Bardock Father and Son in play. I'm tapping one of my other opponent's cards and playing another boy. Obviously, I believe, like, I don't think your opponent will have that many battle cards up in active mode for you to tap constantly, but it's pretty good. Like, it just seems pretty good. Like, playing this for free and tapping over your opponent's cards is insane. You deny them a blocker if it doesn't have barrier. You deny them 5k combo, and you get an extra 15k swing for literally no reason. Like, the only reason is that your leader is yellow. That seems really good. I feel like if you're playing a yellow leader, this card is like very techable into your deck just because it is a free 15k body that taps. So that is why this card is a solid number 3. Could potentially be number 2, but, like, you know, we can't deny Vegeta the number 2 spot. My boy Jeets, the boy. This card is epic if your leader is red again. The last card was locked to yellow leaders, but this card is locked to red leaders. So this, well, it's not locked to red leaders, but I don't think people are tapping 5 energy to play this card in your opponent's turn, or in general, actually. So what does this card do? Well, for starters, it has counterplay, and counterplay meta again. Good card. Permanent. If your leader is red, reduce the cost of 2. It costs 1 specific red, insane, and now it's a 3-drop, insane. And when you play this card, you minus all of your opponent's cards, battle cards 20k power, and if it's your opponent's turn, your leader gets 5,000 power. This is insane on no matter whose turn you turn. This card literally is a Kami on steroids. The only difference between this card and Kami is that Kami kills itself, but you draw a card, and your opponent has to have 4 cards in play, and Kami kills your board. This card, you play it for 3 energy. To do Kami's combo, it technically costs 3 energy. You're playing this for 3, you literally kill your opponent's board. Your opponent just explodes. Just straight up. Like, even if your opponent counterplays this card, yeah, they literally just played another card for you to kill. Like, it just seems so good. Like, let's say now your opponent's got 4 battle cards in play. Fantastic. My turn. Boom. Tap 3. Bitch. Boom. Vegeta exploiting your weaknesses. Boom. Your board's dead. Like, that's broken. And you get a 19k body. Better. Fantastic. Seems pretty good. Like, I'm happy that Bandai, they haven't printed a good Vegeta leader since set 1. I guess Explosive Power is pretty good until they errated that the Ultimate Box Dark Marseille, or Marseille, the one that warps energy. I can't actually remember the name. Forced Objection, since they are like enough to that. But like Bandai always for whatever reason just prints just broken Vegeta cards. There is always a broken Vegeta card that just comes out. It's awesome for the Vegeta fanboy such as myself. Seems pretty good. But then the now the number 1 card on this list, Desperate Measures. I know, it's just a common card. Why is this common card so good? Here's why this common card's so good. This card will 1v9 early game. just casually. So what this card says, it's a 1 blue energy. If the battle card your opponent is playing has an energy cost of 2 or less, it is returned to the owner's hand instead of being played, and then you choose up to one of your blue battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or less and return to its owner's hand. The fact that throughout that entire thing, it did not once say that your leader is leader specific is insane. And it's also, there's a blue, the 2-drop blue extra card, you're wide open, that bounces back a 4-drop. This is essentially a halved version of that, if that makes sense. If you're only focusing on the first part of that, both of the cards return a battle card to the owner's hand. The difference is the 2-drop card can return 4 or less, and this card returns 2 or less. This paying, I would happily pay 1 energy to return a 2-drop from my opponent's hand that can start ramping him. For example, any of the veggie cards that they deploy a lot of veggies from, you just play this, bounces back to hand. Like, the only costing one's really good. The fact that I can play this in any deck, as long as I run blue energy, is really, really good. Like, it's not leader locked like other cards. It's essentially, this card is like a cold blob. I wouldn't say quite like a cold bloodlust, but it just seems I'm only focusing on the first part of the effect, yeah, and the card's already insanely good. This card is 100% going to see competitive play, 100%. It's going to be so splashable. It's just so good. And then the other effect is that then choose up to 1 blue battle card with an energy cost of 3 or less and return it to its owner's hand. It has to be yours for starters, but you just bounce back one of your blue 5 1-drops and just play it again on your turn, and you draw another card, or you bounce back your Gohan combo, or you just bounce back a blue card that's tapped so it doesn't die. It's like, this card has so many, like, it's just such a diverse card. Literally the only downside of this card is that you have to play it in response to something your opponent's doing. That's the only downside of this card, and that's still, like, insane. Like, you're paying 1 to do so many things. I don't think this card, a lot of people compare this card to Flute. I don't think Flute, it's as broken as Flute, because, well, Flute you use during your turn and it draws you a card, and it's also free. This at least costs an energy to use, and doesn't let you board wipe your opponent's stuff, like, just randomly. But the fact that it can stop so much early plays, like even turn 1, your opponent's trying to awaken. Okay, you're playing a 1-drop attacker. Okay, I return that to your hand. You just wasted your mana, and I returned a card to my hand. Like, this card is really good, and if you're running blue, you're probably gonna see this in your side or main. Just straight up, this card seems just really good. But yeah, that is no, this card doesn't seem really good. This card is really good. Boom, we done here. We talked here for 35 minutes, almost 33 minutes and 40 seconds. I don't know. My voice is getting dry. But thank you. If you actually put up with my annoying voice for this long, I give you props. Your reward is you should subscribe to this channel. That's what you should treat yourself to, honestly. If you're asking me, it seems like a good idea. But anyway, guys, really hope you enjoyed my analysis of this thing. This draft box. There we go. That's the words I'm looking for. And leave a comment on your opinion. I talked about a quarter of the draft box here, but I honestly reckon those top 15 cards, pretty much every card I mentioned in this video is going to be seeing competitive play. But those top 5, dude, spicy, very spicy. But anyway, guys, I'll see you all next time. This is True Pyro Shad signing out. Peace.